Mazda for many decades have produced extremely reliable and robust cars. It all goes back to like the RX-7, the RX-8 and the MX-5 being the most iconic vehicle. So the fact that they're now doing SUVs that are a hybrid kind of doesn't really play into what Mazda are all about, but they've had to diversify and they've had to get into a different sector to maintain profitable for one, but more importantly, to continue making great cars. Now it's obvious that Mazda's best seller is the MX-5, but this is creeping up there rather fast, and there is a reason why. Because it's luxurious inside and out. It's also very well built, extremely fast, and cheap to lease at only £280 per month. I absolutely love it. There is a lot going on at the front. You've got this massive, huge mouthy grille and these snouty looking headlights, and the bonnet does come down to a very sharp point. And then if you just unlock the car, you get this lovely little soft blink and pulse of the indicators, and that's something we're seeing across a lot of premium brands in the market. So the fact Mazda have brought that in just tells me that they want people to know that this car is extremely luxurious. Then there's the side profile, which I particularly love. You've got a really boxy back end, and then it comes down to this huge, massive flat bonnet. And when I say that is huge, I mean that bonnet is absolutely massive. You could probably feed a family of 12 off that if you were out in the sticks. And if I'm being brutally honest, there's one feature on the back of this car that I absolutely cannot stand, and it isn't Mazda's fault. Well, it is Mazda's fault because they decided to do it and play into it. It's these fake exhausts. Like, come on, what is that? That is a piece of plastic just stuck on a bumper, and then the real exhaust comes out underneath. It's almost as bad as the phase that Audi went through, but gladly they saw the light and reversed it. There's nothing worse than seeing it coming out pointing to the floor. I am talking about an exhaust here, believe me. If I just pop this lever, you're greeted by this 2.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine, which is paired with a 17-ish kilowatt-hour motor, and it produces 322 brake horsepower and around 500 newton meters of torque. And that all plays into a 0 to 60 of 5.8 seconds. And believe me, this feels rapid, and it also gives off a lovely engine note. There is one little cheat going on here though, and that is the plastic rocker cover. Behind it, there is a lot of room for something else. And if I just pull these, yeah, you can see there that the engine that is actually in the car looks very similar to the MX-5 engine. But the reason there is so much room in this engine bay is because Mazda offer this in two forms. They do offer this car with a 3.3 litre straight six diesel engine. And I was lucky enough to drive that last year, and my God, that gives off a rumble, but it doesn't produce as much horsepower as this. Then there's the charge times. Well, this will charge a full battery in around 2.5 hours, but its max capability of charging is 7.2 kilowatts, which means you're really only going to use a domestic home charger. Now, some in the comments will say, well, because we want rapid charge. The boot space, after you've used the electronic tailgate by holding the button on the key, is 570 litres, and if that isn't enough for you, you can just pull these little tabs here and here, all the seats fold down, and that expands to over 1700 litres. The confidence that I have in this Mazda is quite literally this. I'm going to wet my hair. That is really cold. Oh, that's very cold. And I look like a wet dog, and if I do the Tresemme flick, in the back there is a 1500 watt socket, and if I plug in and press the button, come on, maybe the ignition's got to be on. Is it on? Is it on? Is it going to stay up? Right. Get off! I really didn't think that that was going to work. This is why we should consider leasing a Mazda CX-60. I bet that guy's just thought, what on earth is he doing? He's in the wild and he's drying his hair. Hello? Yeah, I've borrowed the hairdryer. Well, what do you mean, why have I borrowed? Well, because the CX-60's got a socket in it. Oh, you just got out of the shower and your hair's wet? All right. Right, well, I'll be there in about 10 minutes. Well, another awesome feature is this back door, and you can clearly tell that Mazda have thought about parents this one. Getting kids in and out of the car seat can be quite difficult, but if you open this door, it opens way back here and it is almost 90 degrees, meaning that you can literally walk straight and put the kid in the seat. There's none of this where the door's like this and you're trying to scurry around. 90-degree doors. Now, I don't believe the front does it. The front doesn't do it because the doors are quite simply massive, but that 90-degree opening doors, talk about practical.
So, practical as well as a mobile salon. Surely it can't get any better inside.
Where do I even begin with just how nice this interior is? It's quite mind-blowing, to be honest. You've got a steering wheel that is electronically operated, forwards, backwards and up and down, which is always a nice feature. Got electric seats, driver's side and passenger side, but the only memory on the driver's side. Little negative, quite hard to see the memory buttons, but then again, I do think they look a bit untidy when they're up displayed on the door, so it is nice that they're tucked away. You've also got heated seats, front and rear, and you've also got air-conditioned seats, driver and front passenger. They don't transfer into the rear. You've got a heated steering wheel button down here, which is lovely. Really, really nice leather feel, just lovely chunky feel. And if I'm honest, if you cover the Mazda badge up and you replaced it with a German badge, it looks rather Bentley. Then if I come over to this bit of the dashboard, this is where all car manufacturers just need to just take inspiration from this. There's no stupid touch haptic feedback screens or things you've got to drag and gesture control just to control the vents or control the speed of the fans. Everything is a button, from the AC, the heated seats, the air conditioning.
Can you tell this has annoyed me for a while? Yeah, just bring back the button.
It also comes with a Bose stereo and it sounds sensational. Listen to this. Very loud. Sorry, that's all I can show you before the copyright police get involved. You've also got this massive panoramic roof, which you can operate up here. You can have it open on a slant, or you can just literally have it open and back. It only opens about this much, not very far, but it's more than enough to let the air in. And you can also close the blind all the way across it. Anyway, what's it like in the back? With the seat currently in the position where I like to sit, it does feel a little bit cramped, but if I just kind of, sorry. Everything does feel very airy and spacious. However, the first thing you notice is the seating position does feel quite raised compared to the front. Now that's particularly good because it allows you to see right down the bonnet and you don't feel like you're having to stretch up to see what's in front of you. Again, the materials in the back, there is no lesser quality in here, and that is quite impressive, to be honest, because in the newest BMWs and Audis you tend to see that the quality lessens back into the back and you get a few more scratchy plastics. That isn't the case in the CX-60. It's absolutely gorgeous. Door cards, very lovely feel. You've got that really nice fabric that you've got on the dashboard on the door card here. The wood, the chrome, very nice. Tinted privacy glass, gorgeous. A leather pocket on the back of the seats, and that leather just smells sensational. Lower down, if you pop this up, you've actually got a 150 watt 13 amp socket outlet UK plug, and obviously that will change depending on what country you're in. You'll get a different type socket. You've got two USB-C plugs down there as well, and you've got this lovely perforated leather, dual isofix points both sides, and if we put our hands in here, it is a bit awkward to open. We've got a nice armrest with a cup holder, but I cannot put into words how good it is for the price per month. It is mental. The quality of it is just sensational. Every single person that has been in this car has said to me that there's no way that is a Mazda.
It might not look like a Mazda on the inside, but does it drive like one?
With the CX-60, you get 4 drive modes. You've got off-road, EV, normal and sport. The off-road version though, I'll be honest, I think this car is a little bit too posh and the ground clearance isn't that great to be taking it off-road. I think it's more aimed at probably like your dusty dirt tracks if you happen to go down one by accident, not necessarily on purpose. Now, I expected the fuel tank range on this car to be a lot higher than what it is. When Mazda dropped this car off at my house, I was quite alarmed at how little range the fuel offered. From a full tank, or just under a full tank, 240 miles of range, and I do believe it's because it is a small tank to fill up. It doesn't actually hold a lot of fuel. And it is also quite thirsty when it comes to the fuel side of things. I've been driving this with a little bit of poke because it's quite hard not to with the power that this car puts out, but we've been averaging around 25 miles per gallon, which from a 2.5 litre, not that great.
But that was driving with the battery flat. However, on a run with the battery charged, we achieved around 38 miles to the gallon, which is okay, I suppose, given how heavy it is. But if I was to produce a particular model, I'd go for the 3.3 litre straight 6 diesel. It feels like it has more torque, even though the hybrid beats it on paper.
If I flick it into sport mode, everything turns red on the dashboard in front of me. It's dropped down a gear, you can hear the engine kick in, and if I just give it a squeeze, that's not bad. That is actually not bad. And it's got a nice little purr to the engine as well, so I can't really moan about that. That sounds really good. But what this car is it's a proper car. It actually has feel. It's not electric. Mazda said years ago that they were not buying into this whole EV stuff. They're not interested in doing it. However, they have gone back on the word. They are releasing an EV this year. But it wouldn't surprise me if they've teamed up with somebody and it isn't their technology. Mazda said at an event I attended in Yorkshire last year that they are going to focus on hybrid engines only, and my God, this is a really pokey one. For the weight of this car, it's actually really impressive.
So let's line it up and put it to the test.
So to roll up to the start line, I'm just going to make sure we're in sport mode by selecting that on the My Drive or M Intelligent Drive. We're on the start line. I'm going to left foot on the brake. I don't think this car's got launch. 3, 2, 1. Boost. It sounds like there's a supercharger on it. 60. Oh! That sounded very, very whiny and supercharging. I'm going to do that again. That was quite fun, actually. Left foot down, hard on the accelerator. 3, 2, 1, go. That was a bit of a slow start. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Wow. That whine. You shouldn't be getting that noise from an SUV. Not from a 2.5 litre anyway. The issue is, everybody has become so dependent on driving German cars in the UK, and now the market is being flooded with Japanese, Korean and Chinese cars. The Japanese have always had very reliable cars, but they've always been a little bit dull to look at unless you're into that drift type world where you put big wings on them and slam them to the floor and you're donutting around a car park at 9 o'clock at night, which I don't condone, by the way, but a lot of teenagers seem to do that nowadays.
The point I'm trying to make is, it appears the car industry is being taken over by the underdogs. Manufacturers that have appeared to be a bit bland over the years are up in their game and giving you everything luxury cars have had for a fraction of the price. And that doesn't mean corners have been cut and they're not as good. In fact, it just highlights how lazy the premium brands have been over the past few decades because of their market dominance. But believe me when I say it, this is one car that you're gonna see a hell of a lot of.